Today we're here to chat about some of the exciting movies and series on Disney Plus that you're going to want to add to your summer watch list. From the latest season of the Kardashians to the epic action-packed sci-fi kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, all of these and more are streaming on Disney Plus this summer. Okay, so Only Murders in the Building, if you haven't seen it before, the premise is we have 3 lead characters who are played by Steve Martin and Martin Short. Selena Gomez. The 3 characters could not be any more different, but they're buddies, we could say. They all live in the same building in New York City. Stuff happens. I mean, I suppose the name of the show is a bit of a spoiler. There's murders in the building, and the guys who are true crime podcast fanatics decide to start their own podcast and essentially look into solving some murders. Really, really, really funny cast. Script is amazing. The storyline is amazing. It's a good watch. Like, I know the show is technically about something dark. It's definitely not a scary watch. Like, it's not something to avoid if you're like, oh, I'm not in the mood for something heavy. It's not heavy at all. It's very, very comedic. And obviously the backdrop of New York makes it an exceptional watch for New York City fans. We're on to season 4 now of Only Murders in the Building. It's hard to believe that it's 4 seasons already. Season 1 to 3 takes place in New York, and now season 4, after watching the trailer, we know that the trio are off to Los Angeles. They've been offered some sort of a movie deal or a series deal, and yeah, they're looking to bring their podcast to the silver screen. I'm sure it's going to be one adventure after the other. So yeah, we're going to have to see, do they make it to the silver screen? And also, like, who gets murdered? There's definitely going to be another murder. So can they solve it? Who's going to be involved? Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to in this season. So one of the things that everybody loves about Only Murders in the Building is the cast. Obviously, like we said, we've got the iconic trio, but there's also been a massive range of stars have joined them over the years. So we've had the likes of Meryl Streep, Paul Rudd. Meryl Streep will be back for season 4. Everyone is absolutely buzzing for that. We can't get enough of Meryl in anything, so she's been brilliant in season 3 and we can't wait to see her in season 4. But as well as her, there's also going to be Molly Shannon, Eugene Levy, Eva Longoria, Zach Galifianakis, who we all will know from so many iconic comedies over the years. We'll also have Kumail Nanjiani, and then last but not least, Melissa McCarthy is going to be joining, so we are in for a massive season of laughs. Season 4 of Only Murders in the Building comes exclusively to Disney Plus from August 27th. Okay, so when it comes to Star Wars, personally, I've never been a Star Wars enthusiast. I grew up in a house where my dad was mad about Star Wars. He was obsessed with the originals when they came out when he was a kid.
She was my student. I trained her.
We've got like Star Wars mugs, Star Wars t-shirts, but I just never got into it. The Acolyte, which is a new show on Disney Plus. So it takes place in the Star Wars world. It is kind of a prequel, so it's happening decades before anything else that we've seen in Star Wars. If you are a big Star Wars fan, you're gonna love the like little Easter eggs that make reference to things that are gonna come. But if you're not a Star Wars fan, or if you haven't gotten into Star Wars a little bit like myself, this is still something that you are gonna enjoy. It's basically a murder mystery that's set in space. There's lots going on, lots of things where you're like, who did that? Why are they doing this? And you sort of figure it out as you go along. The action scenes are epic. Like, you're watching it going, how did they do that? She literally looks like she's flying across a room. Lots of action scenes, lots of great special effects, and it's just a feast for the eyes. You'll absolutely love it.
I'll change everything.
Also, some of the stars that you might recognise in the show are the likes of Carrie-Anne Moss, who we love from The Matrix, so we already know her in that kind of sci-fi action world. You're going to recognise some people from Squid Game, some people from The Hunger Games, so yeah, there's lots of stars that you're going to recognise in this series. All episodes of The Acolyte are available exclusively on Disney Plus right now. So, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes takes place hundreds of years after the recent Planet of the Apes trilogy. So if you haven't watched the original trilogy, that's totally fine. That's not a must. Obviously, they're quite epic, so we highly recommend a watch. But this new movie is a standalone movie by itself, so you don't need to know all the history. You can jump straight into this. So if you're looking for a film that's full of amazing special effects, action sequences, standout performances, this has something for you. Okay, so as we said, decades after everything that happened in the original trilogy, it is set on Earth, and we have sort of a utopia that's set up by the apes. Everything's going great until it's not. So we have a little bit of, I guess you could call it almost like a civil war. So there's stuff going on between them. There's battle for power, all the great stuff that you want to see in a big blockbuster movie. And yeah, just what ensues is action-packed. There's a big plot twist for the apes themselves. They discover something that is set to potentially unravel their whole society as they have built it. I'm not going to say any more. That's enough spoilers for me. Just make sure you go and watch it. Just go watch it. The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is available on Disney Plus right now. Okay, so season 5 of the Kardashians. It's hard to believe that it's on season 5 already. Everyone is absolutely eating up this content from the famous family. So the big things that are going on this season, let's go sister by sister. So we have Kim. So she's still up to her neck in all of her advocacy work. So she's obviously studying to become a lawyer. She does a lot of work in prison reform, and that is a huge focus on this season. She at one point gets to take cameras inside a prison. So I just think that's really interesting. Even just for the world of reality TV, you know, everyone's kind of like, oh, it's gossip, it's drama, it's whatever. But there's a lot of serious messages throughout these recent seasons of the Kardashians. And one of them is just looking into the more serious topic of prison reform and second chances and what's right, just in general for society and people. I think that's really great work that Kim is doing. She's also tackling raising lots of children. She has like 4 kids. She's a busy mom, and she is now acting. We've seen her in American Horror Story, which is also on Disney Plus. It's her acting debut. She did do a little stint on Saturday Night Live. Probably shouldn't say little. I think it was a big achievement. She is a fully fledged actress now, and there's lots of talks about, is she going to do a movie? Is she going to do other things? So we are all excited to see what she does next. Then Obviously, Courtney married Travis Barker from Blink-182 in the last 2 years, and they have just welcomed their baby boy, Rocky. So he was born at the beginning of season 5, and they actually bring the cameras in. They let us see the whole sort of end of her pregnancy, which is quite unusual for Courtney in recent years. She's been a lot more private than her sisters, and we get to kind of come along for the journey of her and Travis welcoming their gorgeous baby boy into the world. So Chloe, she kind of spends this season defending herself to her sisters. She has kind of gone into full mom mode, and she likes to stay home with her kids, and she's the routine queen. So they're all giving her hassle over that. No. She loves to have her kids on a schedule, and just there's a lot of talk around her like parenting and how she likes to spend her time. So that's her big story this season. And then obviously we have the rest of the family. There's lots of things going on. Those are just some of the kind of top line things that are happening. If you haven't started season 5 yet, all the episodes are out now on Disney Plus, so you can go and watch to your heart's content. If you're like me, if you're a big Kardashian and reality fan, you are going to love this season. All episodes of the brand new season of the Kardashians is available to stream on Disney Plus right now. So we're on to The Bear, which is one of the most talked about shows of recent years. We've had lots of Emmy Awards, lots of Golden Globe Awards. This show has just been cleaning up around the award seasons. So our main 3 characters are Carmi, we've got Sydney, and we've also got Richie. We'll put him up there as one of the OG 3 iconic characters. Season 1 and 2 fans will be super familiar with. So we've got, Carmi coming in, taking over his family business. And then we've also got kind of the evolution of that business and all the relationships between everybody in the restaurant that he is running with his family and friends. If you are a fan of the show, you have been waiting on the edge of your seat for this season to land, and it's here. All episodes of season 3 are here on Disney Plus right now. The guys are working super hard to get the restaurant up and running. Big ambitions, big goals. They're trying to strive to make this place the best of the best. And obviously it's set in a post-pandemic world, so the show really does highlight the challenges that restaurant owners kind of face throughout the recent years. And they bring it to us in a really artistic way through amazing storytelling. Lots of chaos.
What's going on tonight? Have you been here before?
Lots of little nuggets of adventures between the casts and great food. The dishes look absolutely spectacular. When you think back to season 1 and they had their beef sub, which looks epic, and I would love to taste one of those sandwiches. We look back on those initial dishes to what they're serving up now, which we're talking Michelin star creative works of art, but they are still serving the subs. So you'll have to watch the show to figure out how they do that. Just so much to look forward to in season 3. So if you haven't caught up on The Bear season 3, just make sure you put it on your watch list now. So remember, all of these and more are streaming now on Disney Plus this summer.